Hello friends, today we are going to deal with the next part of the kidney, that is the nephron. Nephron are the functional unit of the kidney. Nephron consists of two parts. One is the renal capsule, another one is the renal tubule. Renal capsules are found in the renal cortex, that is the part of the kidney. And renal capsule composed of two components. One is the glomerulus, that is known as capillary network, and another one is the glomerular capsule, this is known as Bowman capsule. And the renal tubule consists of three different parts. One is the PCT, that is known as proximal convoluted tubule, that is found in the renal cortex. Nephron, loop of a nephron, that is also known as nephron loop, are found in the renal medulla. And third part is the distal convoluted tubule, DCT, that found in the renal cortex. Okay, the word is convoluted. The meaning of this word is that the tube that is tightly coiled, not a straight tube. Those tubes that are tightly coiled is known as convoluted. Okay, convoluted tubule. In kidney, several DCT empty into a single collecting duct, empty into a single CT. Okay, the flow of fluid through the nephron to the renal pelvis. The flow of that fluid, that urine, is started from the glomerulus, then transferred into the glomerular capsule, then transferred into the PCT, and that fluid drained into the distinct loop of nephron, and that convey the fluid into the ascending lymph of nephron, and that transfer the fluid into the DCT. DCT drain the fluid into the collecting duct. Collecting duct are drain the urine and fluid into the papillary duct. Papillary duct drain the fluid into the major and minor calyxes. Minor calyxes drain the fluid into the renal pelvis, and after that renal pelvis drain the fluid into the ureter, and ureter drain the blood into the urinary bladder. Note these points. About 80 to 85 of the nephron are cortical nephrons, means their nephron loop are shorter in length, and they are mainly lie in the renal cortex, and uh, only this small part of that is lie in the outer region of the renal medulla. So in the cortical nephron, they lack of the thin ascending lymph. Other 15 to 20% of the nephron are juxtamedullary nephron, means their nephron loop are long in the length and extended deep into the renal medulla, and they have also vasa recta and the tubular capillary. Okay, in the cortical nephron they have they do not have vasa recta, and they have only the peritubular capillary that maintain the concentration of the ions into the blood. Okay, next, ascending lymph of nephron of juxtamedullary nephron consists of thick and thin ascending lymph of nephron. There is the difference between the thick and thin ascending loop of nephron is only the epithelium, that is thinner in the thin ascending loop of nephron. The diameter of lumen inside the ascending lymph is same as the renal tube. There is no difference between the lumen. Only the difference that differ the thick and thin ascending of the nephron loop is the epithelium layer. Okay, you got this point? So shall we move? cortical nephron and juxtamedullary nephron. If we diagrammatically see that the nephron are cortical nephron are not be much deeper as the juxtamedullary nephron, that is deeper into the renal medulla. So you see this that the outer part of the kidney have a capsule, renal capsule, and renal corpuscle are here, have two parts, glomerulus capsule, glomerulus. Then you see the efferent arteriole, okay, efferent arterioles, also proximal convolulant, peritubular capillary, that formed by the peritubular capillary are formed by efferent arteriole. After that you see the descending lymph of nephron and ascending lymph of nephron. Okay, this is the loop of Henle. Okay, sometime I pronounce wrong spelling, so this is my mistake. And after that the loop of Henle, you can see the distal convolulant tubule, and that distal convolulant tubule are attached, then drain the urine into the collecting duct, and the collecting duct go into the papillary duct, and papillary duct enter in the renal pelvis. These are the renal papilla. These are the major and major calyxes, and this is the drop of urine. Okay, flow of fluid through the cortical nephron. So first fluid come into the glomerular capsule where they filtrate blood. First the blood come in the woman capsule, glomerulus capsule, where they filtrate. That filtrate fluid go into the proximal convolulant tubule, and then it transfer into descending loop of Henle, and then ascending lymph of Henle, and that fluid is drained into the descending convolulant tubule, and that go into the collecting duct. Okay, here same, only the difference is that they have vasa recta and also have peritubular capillary. These are formed by the efferent arterioles. Okay, almost all the same. In the cortex, in the cortical nephron, they don't have the thin ascending lymph of nephrons. Okay, or flow of fluid through a juxtamedullary nephron, same as Bowman capsule. Blood come into the Bowman capsule, filtrate, and then transfer the fluid into the proximal convolulant tubule. That transfer in the descending lymph of the loop of Henle, then into the thin ascending lymph of the loop of Henle, then thick ascending lymph of loop of Henle, then into the DCT, and that after that DCT drain the fluid into the collecting duct. Okay, here we see some labeling. Okay, this is the renal capsules. I have a glomerulus capsule, glomerulus, efferent arteriole, interlobular artery, and interlobular veins, arcuate vein, artery. They are also we discussed in the last lecture. If you want to know about these, please watch the previous lecture. Okay, next that PCT, and then descending loop of an thick ascending lymphs, then DCT drain the fluid into the collecting duct, and papillary duct major plexus, and then this is the urine that is passed into the ureter by the renal pelvis. Okay, Next, shall we move to the next slide? Okay. Oh, sorry. Histology of nephron and collecting duct. Okay. Now we discuss the histology of the nephron and collecting duct. First, we discuss the nephron histology. So, single epithelium cell make the whole glomerulus capsule, renal tubule, and renal duct. Only the histological feature that differ their function. Okay. So, glomerulus capsule consists of visceral layer and another is the parietal layer. Okay, the visceral layer are modified simple squamous epithelium cell called as podocytes. The many foot-like projection of these cells, that is the pedicel, wrap around a single layer of epithelium cell of the glomerulus capillary and form the inner wall of the capsule. I explain this slide. That's the layer of capillary, the capillary that is between the afferent and efferent arteriole have a capillaries. Their epithelium layer surrounding the foot-like projection, that is the pedicel, cover the pedicel and make a inner wall of the capsule. Understand this line? Okay. The parietal layer of the glomerulus capsule is also composed of simple squamous epithelium layer, and the visceral layer are also composed of simple squamous epithelium layer. The space between the two layers of the glomerulus capsule is known as a capsular space and also known as a, here this is the space, Bowman's capsule, that is the round one, white one is the, okay, is also known as Bowman capsules and also we called as capsular space. Okay. Think the relation between the glomerulus and glomerular capsule in this way, fist of glomerulus, the fist of glomerulus punch into the lymph of the balloons. Okay, the fist of the glomerulus punch into the balloon of the balloon of the glomerulus. That balloon is the glomerulus capsule. So that fist is covered by, that fist go into the balloon and that fist is covered by a two layer. That fist touch that layer, that layer which touch the fist. Okay, that layer of the balloon that touch the fist is called as the visceral layer, and the outer layer, that outer layer of the balloon. Okay, you think a balloon, you punch into the balloon, you make a fist and punch into the balloon, that layer of the balloon, that side of the layer of the balloon that touch your fist, your hand fist. Okay, that surface is known as a visceral layer, and another there is a outer surface. Okay, there is a outer surface that is that cover that outer side that not touch the your fist. Okay, this surface is known as parietal layer. Okay, and you think that there is a space, between the two, between that visceral and the parietal layer inside the balloon. Okay, there is a space between inside the balloon. This space is known as capsular space and Bowman space. Okay, I think you understand this this glomerular space and layer, okay. And also you understand the inner layer of the capsule. The inner layer is formed by the epithelium layer of the capillary. Hope you understand. Next move to slide of that is renal tubule and collecting duct. So PCT cell are the simple cuboidal epithelium with brush border of microvilli on their apical surface. In previous, that is the glomerulus capsule, their layer are formed of the simple squamous epithelium, and here it is a simple cuboidal epithelium and have a brush border microvilli, and that microvilli on the apical surface. The apical surface is those surface which facing toward the lumen. That surface is faced toward the lumen is known as apical surface. And you know that the what is the function of microvilli? Microvilli mainly increase the surface area for absorption, okay. So this is about the PCT. Now descending loop of Henle, and the first part of the thin ascending loop of Henle is composed of again simple squamous epithelium. So this is a simple squamous epithelium. Thick ascending loop of Henle composed of simple cuboidal to low columnar epithelium. So the thick is composed of simple cuboidal and the simple cuboidal to low columnar epithelium, okay. The columnar tubular cell of the thick ascending lymph of nephron is crowded. They are crowded together to form a macula densa. Okay, that crowd together the columnar tubular cell of ascending lymph of nephron to make macula densa, and the wall of afferent arteriole modify into smooth squamous fiber, that modify into smooth muscle fiber and form juxtaglomerulus cell, okay. That form in diagram you can clearly see there are the macula densa. These are the modification of the columnar cell of the ascending lymph of the nephron, and they have another is the juxtaglomerulus cell, that are the modification of afferent arteriole, okay. And they juxtaglomerulus cell and the macula densa together known as the juxtaglomerulus apparatus. These are the juxtaglomerulus apparatus, okay. And the mainly they help in the juxtaglomerulus apparatus mainly help in the blood pressure regulation within the kidney. So they regulate the blood pressure. So in collecting duct have two different cells, and the have the two different cells. The CT have two different. One is the principal cell, and another is the intercalated cells. These are also cuboidal cells. These are also simple cuboidal cells. But they are divided into two cells. One is the principal cell, and another one is the intercalated cell. So principal cell have a receptor of antidiuretic hormone, that is contractor that reabsorb the water in DCT, and they have also in DCT and in the CT. So principal cell have a receptor for ADH and aldosterone hormones, okay. And the intercalated cell help in the homeostasis of blood pH. They maintain the pH of the blood, okay. So here we see the diagram. There is the distinct columnar tubule. They are the modified cells have known as juxtaglomerulus cell, okay. These are the myocytes, afferent arteriole. These are the capillary here you can see that we in previous slide we discussed epithelium layer. This is the epithelium layer. There is also basement membrane. Have a basement membrane. What is this? Like a thin epithelium layer, no? So around that there is a epithelium layer that form the inner wall of the capsule. Okay, this is the proximal convoluted tubule. This have a microvilli brushwater appearance in the apical surface, and this is the parietal layer. These are the visceral layer, which is composed of podocyte and pedicels. Okay, these are foot-like projections, the arrow, and this is the podocyte have a hole. Okay, this is the space between the two layer, clearly view. These are the granular cells, green one. Okay, if you have any doubt you can ask through comment. Okay, this is the diagrammatic, this is the histological view of the glomerulus capsule. Okay, next shall we move? So here I put a slide. You follow this chart and know that and remember the cells which are present in which part of the nephron. On that one is the PCT, we already know have a microvilli with the simple cuboidal epithelium. Okay, and the nephron loop, which is ascending and thin descending lymph, and thin ascending have simple squamous epithelium, same as the glomerulus capsule. And this is the thick ascending lymph, have a simple cuboidal to low columnar epithelium. That columnar is crowded together and make macula. Okay, densa, macula densa, and most of the DCT are like a simple cuboidal epithelium cell, and also last part of the DCT and the collecting duct have a simple cuboidal epithelium, which is consist of principal cell and the intercalated cell. Okay, you by this chart you don't forget the cells, where which part they have which kind of the cell. This is the important, the quick revision of last of previous two slides. Okay, next shall we move to the next slide? Okay, so here this is the overview, this is the little discussion on the renal physiology. Okay, so formation of urine, the production of urine by nephron and collecting duct is performed by the three functions. One is the glomerulus filtration, another one is the tubular reabsorption, third one is the tubular secretion. So in the glomerulus filtration, water and the most solute in the blood move across the wall of the glomerulus capillary. These are the last, these capillary move across the wall of the capillary. Okay, by diagram you don't forget, never forget these things. Okay, so fluid come across the wall of the glomerulus capillary, where they filtrate and move into the glomerulus capsule inside the capsule. Okay, and then transfer into the renal tubule. So here in the next part of the urine production is the tubular reabsorption. Tubule cells reabsorb about 90% of the fluid water and many useful solute through the peritubular capillaries and the vasa recta. Okay, they absorb 90% of the fluid and the important solute. So here you don't confuse with the word that is the absorption and reabsorption. In digestive system, in the intestine, you can also study that the absorption of the nutrient from the intestine back into the back into the blood streams. So in here the word reabsorption is not mean that the that nutrient come back into the tube. So this is not mean there. Here the meaning of reabsorption is that the useful solute and water reabsorb back into the bloodstream through the peritubular capillaries and vasa recta. Okay, and third and last part that make the urine is the tubular secretion. Renal tubule and duct cell excrete other materials such as waste, drug, and excess ions into the fluid. Those they are the wasteful products that come back into the tubule from the bloodstream, okay, by the peritubular capillary and vasa recta. This is the way through which we can absorb the nutrient and secrete the waste product back into the tubule. Okay. Another point is that the rate of urinary excretion of any solute, the rate of meaning is that the rate of urination is equal to the rate of glomerular filtration, that is the filtrate, okay, rate of glomerular filtration plus rate of secretion, and minus is the rate of the reabsorption. So in rate of urination is that the urine come out the body. So in urine come out from the body through rate of glomerulus filtration and plus the of the rate of secretion, and minus is minus of the rate of reabsorption, because the in reabsorption the useful solutes and water are reabsorbed, so we can minus these things. In rate of glomerulus filtration, whole the blood come across the wall of the glomerulus capillary, okay, and plus the rate of secretion that ions and waste products that are not used for the bodies are come back into the tubule, that are also plus, and the rate of reabsorption are minus. Okay. Another point is the why filtration. Another point is the why filtration, secretion, and reabsorption nephron help to maintain the homeostasis of the blood volume and composition. If any one of the process is hampered and stopped, the homeostasis of the blood volume and composition will be hampered. There will be disbalance of the composition of the blood volume and the concentration. Okay, so this is the meaning of this line. So shall we move the another slide?